in the garden of chanting. This is an important thing because, as we all know, we give examples that when we plant, uh, do gardening, we also get the weeds and we have to take care of the weeds, otherwise, it spoil the plants. So, that's a concept of what it means and what are the weeds. And six weeds have been mentioned in the chanting that we have to be very careful, and we are going to learn those six important weeds that should be taken care of. Okay, let's start reading. While the neophyte chants the holy name of the Lord to cultivate the creeper of devotional service, bhakti-latā, weeds might also start to grow. They are they are classified as follows. Now there are six things that's been mentioned here. Nishedha, Kuṭināṭi, Jivahimsa, Labha, Puja, Pratishta. So these six things that you can write down or remember. The first one, Nishedhachara, actions that are prohibited in the Shastra, scriptures, and which must be strictly avoided by a person who wants to attain perfection. So anything that is told in the Shastra, one should follow it. That which is not told in the Shastra, one should not do it. We don't want to invent something new. We just simply have to follow what has been told. If the Shastra says not to do, we just don't do it. Sometimes this is very important. I'll just spend 1 minute on this one. For everything, there is, if you're saying something, for example, if I quote something from Ramayana or Mahabharata, how do you verify that what is told in Ramayana is right? Answer is, well, we refer to Vedas. What is in the Vedas is what told in the Ramayana. If someone is, if a guru is coming or a devotee is coming and he is giving some lecture, how do we verify what he's saying correct or wrong? Well, you go to, if he's giving a Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, you go to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, check the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to make sure what this person is telling is correct or wrong. How do you know Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is correct or wrong? Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, ultimate scripture. But how do we know what is there in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is right? Again, Vedas are the source. Correct? That's how we go. Now, what is the authority? How do you verify Vedas? There's no verification for Vedas. Vedas are the ultimate authority, right? That is very important to understand. Yes, we can give answers to many things, but then certain things, what Veda says, if you are not we have to be convinced because that's an ultimate authority. Sometimes we may not be we may not be able to understand certain restrictions or certain instruction given by the Vedas. But you cannot go and verify what is told in Vedas is there in some kavya or is there in some Itihasa Puranas. You don't verify like that. Vedas are the ultimate authority. That's a very important thing that we have to know this point. One of the important point out of 10 different points of the glories of Vedas is that there's no authority to Vedas. Vedas are the ultimate authority. Therefore, the first one, Nishedachara, is action that are prohibited in the Shastras and which must be strictly avoided by a person who wants to attain perfection. Now, Kuṭināṭi, diplomacy and duplicity, like the propensity to find faults. This behavior satisfies neither the body nor the mind of the soul. Diplomacy, being diplomatic in the way that we are talking. Sometimes you talk to some people, they will not give a direct answer. They want to not, they will give an answer in such a way that you can just take it however you want. There was diplomacy. And duplicity is not being straightforward. To you, I behave something. To someone else, I behave differently. Right? So those are duplicity. One should be careful not to have this diplomacy and duplicity. 3. Jiva Himsa, killing animals, but also envying other living entities. Srila Prabhupada renders an additional meaning. The word, this is from Prabhupada, the word Jiva Himsa actually means stopping the preaching of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada gives completely a different viewpoint of what Jiva Himsa. Hmm? That stopping preaching of Krishna consciousness. That means every one of us, some way or the other, we have to um, avoid the Jiva Himsa by preaching Krishna consciousness to the best that we can know. We know. So now that we all have to become a great speaker, um, whatever little bit we know, we have to tell to others about Krishna consciousness. That's important. As part of this Jiva Himsa, I was just also thinking that you're all doing really nicely on weekends when I'm not available. Then you're all doing wonderful classes. I was just thinking that we can dedicate one day on a weekend so that you all can continue this sharing of however you want to, like how you're sharing now, either Kirtan, Bhajan, lecture, reading, any of those things. So we were thinking of in those lines, one day dedicated on a weekend for you all to share something in Krishna consciousness. So we can follow this principle of Jiva Himsa. Principle means not to follow Jiva Himsa, Ahimsa. We have to follow Ahimsa, Jiva Himsa. Number four, Labha, the desire for material gains. As we are chanting, we chant sometime so that our material things are safe, and then we want to gain something out of it by chanting material gains. So that is also not good. We are not chanting for gaining any money, property, promotions, job, any of those things. That's not our intention of why we are chanting, or not even we are chanting because if we chant Krishna will take care of my material needs. Sometime out of fear we try to do. I, so let me also chant so Krishna will take care of material needs. That's all not why we are chanting. We lose if we the path of Krishna consciousness if we try to get into that mode. Number four, Labha. Nishedha Chara, Kuṭināṭi, Jiva Himsa, Labha number four. Number five, Puja. Striving for popularity or admiration. Admiration. Want to become very famous so everyone can praise this person, how great he is, how great he is in giving classes, how great he is in singing kirtan, in cooking, in fundraising, and being humble, right? Even sometimes that also happens. Um, so therefore, we have to be careful not to become popular in any ways. You all know this one. Once Prabhupada, um, someone went to Prabhupada and said, "I'm the most fallen devotee." Even among the fallen devotees, we want to be famous of being most fallen, right? So we have to be so that everyone can speak about us. He is very more fallen devotee. Puja is striving for popularity, admiration. What happens is you start gathering people, you then slowly you become so popular. Also, you become very popular, then there are chances of, if you're not careful, not that one should not become popular, that's not the idea. We have to be careful to use the popularity also. If you're not careful, then unless and until you're, sometimes people goes based on how popular you are. Even in Krishna consciousness, people go how many disciples this Maharaj has, or how his lectures are, how many followers are there in the Facebook and YouTube and all those things. Based on that, some people who are in basic level of Krishna consciousness may get attracted to that person. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong at all. And sometimes those people who are or celebrity or that have that attract, they can attract people. They use that in Krishna's service also. There's absolutely nothing wrong to be popular, but we have to be very careful. As we become popular and then high chances that we may commit mistakes. Therefore, that person consciously be aware that this popularity and everything else that I'm using in Krishna consciousness. In that way, one can be popular. Okay. Now, Nisidachara, Kuṭināṭi, Jivahimsa, Labha, Puja, and the last one is six is Pratishta. What happens once you become very popular? Then you expect something. Mm, all your thing. The desire to become an important person in the material world. Popularity brings to make a person to be very important in this world. And other material desires as well. As Srila Prabhupada explains, this Prabhupada's words, a neophyte devotee is certain to be attacked by other material desires as well, women and money. For women, it is men and money. In this way, the heart is again filled with dirty things and becomes harder and harder, like that of a materialist. Gradually, one desires to become a reputed devotee or an avatar incarnation. Uh, this is something really personal. I am telling this one after quite interesting. We had a send off. You all gave us a nice gathering and party in St. Louis, and then after the program, someone came to without mentioning name. Someone came to me and asked, "Can I ask you something?" I said, all people are coming here and going and talking to me. We'll talk about whatever you want. Can we talk tomorrow? That person said, okay. And then I want to respect that person. Then I called that person and said, you said you have something, you want to ask me a question. What is it? And that person asked this question. Don't laugh at me. You all know who I am. But that person asked me this question, are you avatar of God? I couldn't control my laugh. Just imagine an insignificant Lal Gopal Das been appreciated for nothing he has done by 10, 20 people. For him, someone is thinking is an avatar. Imagine about those gurus in India have hundreds and when they have a pandal program, there are 10,000 people are sitting there, 20,000 people, and there are gatherings of millions of people. Think about how great avatar they are not. They're Swayam Bhagavan, right? For many people. It naturally comes for people to start thinking that, oh, he must be God. He must be God. So it's very important. And when people start thinking, oh, maybe it's real. No, I have some special quality. Maybe I'm not knowing that I am God. Like how Lord Ramachandra didn't want to show himself a God. I am also like Ramachandra. Therefore, I'm appeared in this world to deliver all these fallen souls in different places. Now God has sent me to Dallas to make a fallen condition, retrieve the etc. You can easily start getting into that mood of thinking yourself to be God. So have to be very careful. Uh, Pratishtha, the desire to become an important person. So Prabhupada says, better be careful, my brother. It's dangerous. To summarize, Nishedhachara, Kuṭināṭi, Jiva Himsa, Labha, Puja, Pratishtha. By summarizing the 6 V's in the garden of life, Srila Prabhupada explains how to distinguish those V's from the bhakti-latā. Last paragraph. This is from Prabhupada's purport. These unwanted creepers simply present obstacles for the real creeper, the bhakti-latā. One should be very careful to avoid all these unwanted things. Sometimes these unwanted creepers look exactly like the bhakti-latā creeper. They appear to be of the same size and same pieces when they are packed together with the bhakti-latā creeper. But in spite of this, the creeper are called upashaka, weed. A pure devotee can distinguish between the bhakti-latā creeper and a mundane creeper, and he is very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate. That's the point here to remember as we are practicing Krishna consciousness that we follow the Shastras, number one, and whatever Shastra is saying not to do, better not to do. Second one is to be free of diplomacy and duplicity. Third one is Jiva Himsa, that is not being envious of other living entities. Number four is Labha, the desire for material gain. Number five, Puja, striving for popularity, admiration. Six, to desire to become an important person in the material world and having to have material desires. So those are the 6 important weeds that we have to keep them away. in our practice of Krishna consciousness. All right, it's 5:30. I just want to welcome officially Brinda Bhimala Mataji and Sansita, who is just heading to airport to return back to St. Louis from New Jersey. So she's going to join from tomorrow onwards. So I'd like to welcome both of them. I'll welcome them her tomorrow again one more time. All right. Anything else? Oh, one more point. As I said, I like to dedicate one of the weekend for you all to share because I really enjoyed when you all sharing different kathas and different points and songs and bhajans is really nice. So I like really want to officially make one day dedicated for you all to share. So please feel not shy, but come up and share some anything, even for a few minutes is fine, whatever you want to share. And everyone try to participate in that sharing program. It's very important. It's not only we hearing, we also share. As we start sharing things, then that becomes our habit to share with others also. Then we don't need to do Jiva Himsa not by not preaching Krishna consciousness. Okay, we can take just one question if it is okay for you all, because today's nice point, and maybe if you can't answer, we can answer later also. Anything to share? Any discussion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dinat Pranam.
Dandavad, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, maybe a very simple question. This the Vedas, Upanishads. We understand the Vedas originated directly from Lord Krishna, and Ved Vyas wrote for the Kali Yuga. So, is it the same for the different kind of Upanishads also, like Kathopanishad, Mukund, this
Wonderful.
Markandeya Upanishad, a
Wonderful.
lot of them.
Issue. Well, the question, I have to rephrase the question. Let me change it. I mean, I want to make sure things are clear. Upanishad is part of Vedas. It is not separate. It is part of Vedas. A section of Vedas is been titled as Upanishad. Brahmana is another section. Samhita is another section. Like that, Upanishad is another section. And then it's very hard for us to buy. It is not indexed. It is not context is not there. So the the sages like Veda Vyasa has given made things easy for us to understand. These are the Upanishads. These are Samhita. These are Brahmanas. These are Aranyakas. Then just section those things nicely for us. So Vedas are always same. Within the Vedas, within the four Vedas, there are different Upanishads, and certain Upanishads coming from Sama Veda, another from Yajur Veda, and Rig Veda, and Atharvana Veda. There are different Upanishads, different Vedas. Is that a question?
Yes. So, Prabhuji, so basically, the we can say that Ved Vyas ji wrote all of them at the same time, or it was again different time of origin,
Yeah, I mean, he
just for
just
writing.
yeah, writing also was not done actually speaking. What he did was this is a traditional way of teaching these things. What happened was those now it's been in written in palm leaves and all different things, but then at that point of time he had a very structured institute where he had disciples. He taught them in a sectioned way of Yajur, Sama, Atharvana, and then Rig Vedas. He sectioned these things, but that's how usually the teachings happened not by books those days. It is always spoken by guru, and the disciple will repeat two times, and they get it, and they become a guru, and they do the same thing to others. Over the period of the time, only started being it got into the written format and book printing and online and all archive.com and all those different things. So he did not. He did, it was existing as a that's why it's called Shabda Pramanam, by the way. Shabda Pramanam, it's all spoken, right? And heard. So, yeah. What we have is all later part.
Okay, so we can definitely say that like Katha Upanishad and other kind of Upanishads were also like as a part of Vedas as we understood, but they were they were actually just from Ved Vyas. Just if in case we want to explain to somebody, do we
Yeah,
think
I
or
don't. Yeah, I don't know if I have. I can't remember. I think I have given class or I can't remember. Glories on Vedas, 10 points, which cannot match with any other scriptures. What are the unique 10 points of Vedas, which makes Vedas as ultimate authority? I'll see if I have already got some recordings. If not, we can do one session on that one on one of the weekends also. It'll be, I think, beneficial for even if I've not done it. But one point to understand is Veda Vyas did not give Vedas. Please understand. Vedas are eternally existing. It's not been even created by Krishna, God. This may be shocking to hear, like how we know that jivas are not created. Jivas are not created. Likewise, Vedas are not created. It's always existing. It comes and it goes like how we come and we go. When we don't exist, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Because during Pralaya time, none of us exist. But where are we? We are in Prakriti, or we simply say, to keep it very simple, we are part and parcel of Krishna at that point of time. And what about Vedas when the Pralaya time? Vedas also which stays within the heart of Krishna, the Lord. And it manifests again through the disciplic session. Krishna instructs that to Brahma, Brahma, and so forth, etc. Okay. All right. Thank you all very much for joining this morning. And we'll meet again tomorrow, 5 o'clock Central Time. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Thank you.
thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.